Hello, hello, one too many here, and today I'm going to be going over changelog 1028. This is October 28th, and this is the patch for Marine Arena. So let's just get into it. Most of these are balance changes, of course. The first one is just a general change, nothing really big, nothing actually a balance change from this one. The center shop hero leveling icons were rearranged to match the layout of the command center. So basically the same way that they look in the command center is the same way they're going to look in the middle shop, the arena shop. And their button graphics were changed to the picture of the actual hero they upgrade instead of kind of like a random picture. And hopefully this will help newer players kind of figure out what those upgrades do and who they're for better than before. Because before they were just kind of random pictures and they were kind of hard to discern. Like I think the Hydralisk and the Brutalisk ones were kind of odd in particular. All of them were a little weird. But anyways, let's just keep going. The Colossus was removed from the game. Not really, because he was replaced with the Stone Zealot. So essentially the Stone Zealot is the Colossus, exactly in terms of stats and movement and all the stuff the Colossus can do, the Stone Zealot can do. But instead it now looks like the Stone Zealot, which is actually kind of cool. I'm glad that a lot of the heroes are kind of taking this change nowadays because it just basically makes sense. It makes them more heroic, I guess, than just a regular Colossus. Also, it frees up the Colossus model for use maybe somewhere else in the game down the road. Who knows, maybe as a merc shop unit or as a mercenary itself. No one knows. And then also the Destroyer down here, it got a slight nerf. Its cooldown for overcharge was increased by 10 seconds from 20 to 30 seconds. There's probably going to be more nerfs for Destroyers down the road. I think the current suggestion is to reduce their splash a little bit because they're splashing kind of like Marauders, which isn't really intended. Marauder should have the biggest splash. Destroyer should be slightly smaller, but still have a pretty good splash. Anyways, we can see that the Immortal also got a buff. It now takes 20% reduced damage from all sources when Defense Matrix is up. And so that's just going to be a buff to Defense Matrix. And then also just in general, the Hydralisk and Brutalisk parasites, so the broodlings that they spawn after you kill them, it no longer affects the Immortal. So if an Immortal kills a Hydra or a Brutalisk, it will not spawn the parasites, which is really nice. It's kind of a nerf and a buff, I guess. I'm not sure which way to go because you're not getting the minerals for the parasites that you would have been otherwise, but at the same time, you're also not having to fight them. I guess the downside of this would be is like if you have Marines in your party as well, then the Marines are still able to activate the parasites, although the Immortals are not. So it's like a half buff, I guess. Not too much there, but it is nice. It helps the Immortals counter the Brutalists even more. And then the Mutalisk got a lot of buffs this patch. Its total cost was reduced by 200 minerals, which is nice. It also got the same upgrade that all the air got. So essentially what was happening before is air was able to really defense tech everything. Particularly late game. Not so much early game, but late game they were able to, like, if you slapped like 10 or 12 armor on them, they would be able to negate all splash, and the only real way to kill them would be to switch to race, and that would only really work if you're able to outmass them, which was just kind of frustrating to see. Like a player would extremely defense tech late in the game, an hour and 30 minutes, and they'd switch to air, and then there was just nothing you could do to stop them. So in this patch, all the air got reduced in how much armor they get. So they used to get 1 armor, and now they get 0.75. Now to compensate for this, the Mutalisk and the Void Ray, which are supposed to be more of the damage dealing air mercs, also got an increase in their base armor from 2 to 3. And this makes it so that the merge point when the actual reduced armor comes after 4 upgrades. So they got a buff for everything below 4 armor upgrades and a nerf for everything after. So this is going to help their early game and hurt their late game just a little bit. And then also for the Mutalisk, it got its health regeneration training upgrade. The health regeneration that it got from its training upgrade was increased by 0.5 up to 1. And so basically what had happened is it's like a double buff because the Mutalisk regeneration upgrade before was actually bugged, so it was the 0.5 wasn't even working. And so if we increased it to 1, and now the Mutalisk can literally regenerate 100 health in 30 seconds. So we'll see how long that lasts. That sounds a little bit too much, but so basically the Mutalisk can regenerate its health faster than a medevac could basically heal it. So Mutalisk plus medevac means that you're going to be regenerating a lot of health very fast. I can't wait to see someone use that in game. Nobody's really noticed yet, I guess. Anyways, then moving on down, they also got a slight range buff, and this will help them with their attack micro, where they attack and then move back, attack and move back. Combine that with the health regeneration, and Mutalisk are going to be quite a threat in the air. So we'll see how that works out again. The Roach, or I guess the Beetle, got a little bit of a melee damage nerf, so it was at 29 and it's down to 27. I still think they need a little bit more of a nerf because in general they're just very effective, particularly if you're in a game where people don't respond to the Beetle immediately by not letting it get underneath them or anything like that. Like any kind of feed can kind of just let the Beetle run amok. But then again, there is always air, which the beetle can't attack. So I guess that kind of helps, but not too much because beetle can really just go into your base and kill your merc base very easily. So there might be more nerfs to the beetle. Not sure. Not too many people use them, unfortunately, because of how you have to micro them. So we will see how that goes. The stalker got a buff. Also, its minimum range was put up to 0.7, up from 5.7, up from 5.4. And the basic reasoning behind this was that the Lancer costs as much to get as a tier 3. So why not have them start at the same range when they both come out at the 10-minute mark, which makes sense. So that's why that happened. And then also the stalkers will now regain 20 shields every time they blink. So when you're peeling back, blinking, or doing any kind of blink micro, you will regain shields for blinking. So this kind of promotes the micro aspect of the Lancer. So again, that'll be something cool to see if anyone uses in the game. I still think the Lancer is feeling a little bit weak. This might just be because the counters for the Lancer are fairly strong currently, so we'll have to see how that ends up working out. A lot of stuff is going to have to be seen in the future. The Void Ray, I'm going to save this for the next update because this one was actually posted incorrectly, and then in the next update it was posted correctly, so I'm not going to talk about the Void Ray. And then the Wraith, it got its the basic thing for all air, where its armor was reduced per upgrade. And then also its ground-to-air missiles got a buff of 2 damage. And then also its burst, oh no wait, that's its air-to-air. And then its ground-to-air, so its burst laser, which is what attacks the ground, got a slight increase in its splash range, or splash range. And this basically means that it's now able to really splash against Marines effectively once you fully upgrade it, which is the intent. It's not supposed to really do a lot of splash against, or any splash against mercenaries. It's just to help them with their little bit of an overkill problem. Again, the Wraith isn't really intended to be the strongest air unit, and that's why it feels a little bit weak. It's also fairly cheap, I guess, in terms of initial cost, but it does have that 20% damage negation across the board, which is pretty nice. So, and then also another just little buff for the Zergling, for the Tankling, I guess. So the Tankling got a buff of plus 10 health, and the Crackling got a nerf of minus 10 to kind of make them more their roles. The Crackling is supposed to be more damage dealing, and the Tankling is supposed to be more tanking. Of course, it's in the name. But that's about it. There's some bug fixes down here, which you guys can read if you want, like the fixed issue where auto turrets, flame turrets, and planetary fortress cannons could be used to cheat the anti-griefing system. That was just kind of a funny thing. You could place down an auto turret and then kill your neighbor, and he couldn't really do anything about it because of the auto griefing system, which is kind of funny. But that'll be it for this changelog. I'm going to work on the next one that I've been a little bit behind on, which happened on the 29th. And so until next time, this is OTM, and I will talk to you guys later.